A long time ago, I did some deadlifts and I didn't really pay attention to my alignment. And as I was pulling the weight up, I all of a sudden felt this electrical shock right here in my low back and then the shooting pain down my leg, which you probably heard of as sciatica pain. So, what happened was that a disc between the vertebrae was moving out of its original position. So in this video, I will show you exactly what I did in order to get rid of the pain right away, and then what I continue doing so that the pain won't come back. At the end, I will show you a few things that I would definitely avoid doing when you're dealing with bulging discs. And again, if something is severe and acute, please make sure you involve some medical professionals, since I can't see you. I can help you in person. I'll show you briefly what happens when a disc moves away from the center and then pushes on a nerve, which creates then the pain down the leg. My little drawings will refer to these two vertebrae down here, so at the lumbar spine, because it's very common that herniated discs happening in this area. So let's say this is L5 and this is L4, two of the lumbar vertebrae. If they're in the right position, this disc here between your vertebrae is in a happy position. Looks a little bit like a donut. Yeah, so you have the dough on the outside and then the jelly on the inside. There's a little squishy stuff in there. So this is a good position. When you bow forward, then in this position here, the front of the vertebrae, closer here to the belly, will come closer together, which means there will be more space in the back of your vertebrae. And then just because of physical laws, the vertebral disc, the disc will have to move in this direction, which your spine is normally meant to do. But if you're adding a lot of weight to this, and again, alignment is not optimal, you didn't pay attention, whatever, then the disc can move against one of your nerve roots. Let's say I would cut this lady here in half, and then you look at the vertebrae from the top. Then you would see here the spinal cord. This is your vertebrae, the big body, and this blue thing here, it's not blue in your body. I just made it blue so you can see better. So here is your vertebral disc with the squishy stuff, the jelly on the inside. So when you bow forward and the disc starts to shift because too much weight on it, again, there are many, many reasons why things can shift, but let's say it does happen, it will move only to one side, which is why you only have the pain on one side, because there is like a ligament here in front of it, so it cannot move directly to the center. It will always just move to the left or the right. And once this vertebral disc makes contact with the nerve root, you will be in pain. That being said, I was very careful with bowing forwards because I knew it would push my vertebral disc even more against the nerve. And I could feel it. Like every time I bowed more forward, like, oh, there was the pain. So what to do? Let me show you one more thing so my instructions that I will give you make sense. So this lovely picture is you or me cut in half right here at the lumbar spine, low back. So this would be your spine. And then here, this is the front, this is your belly, this is your, oops, that is your six pack, somewhere underneath here. Your obliques, muscles here on the side. And this is here, this is your low back. And I want you to just pay attention to how many muscles are there that surround your spine to give it stability. Because when it comes to sciatica pain caused by the low back, stability is the key. We don't have to stretch too much. The hamstrings need to be stretched. That's true. I can show you that later. But we want to really focus on building strength in the muscles while your spine is neutral. There are even studies that show when these muscles are stable and the person hasn't herniated discs, the person won't have pain. Vice versa, person with an herniated disc that has weakness in these muscles will experience pain. So we get these muscles strong in order to build the stability in a neutral spine position. Okay, let's do it. I put a 15-minute sequence for you together that you can continue doing, so you don't have to listen to all the explanations. It's just the practices. It's free, link is below. Look it up, have fun, let me know how it went. The first position almost seems too simple because that's it, all fours. But we'll do it with action because I said we want to strengthen the muscles around the spine. So what you want to do is just see if you can find some firmness in your legs. So they're not just like hanging here. So there is some tone in your legs. And then explore a little bit. So where is your neutral spine? Right now, like I'm arching my low back too much. And this is too flat. There is somewhere a place where it feels just right. And especially if you have some pain, it will be very clear where the natural curve is. And once you found it, then draw the belly button as close as you can towards your spine. And you want to do this with every exhalation because it happens naturally already when you exhale. So once you have this here, then reach one leg back. And only when you exhale, so you pull your belly button in and lift the leg up at the same time. Then you lower it down again. You do it again. When you exhale, the belly button moves in and you can lift your leg up. Pretty simple. If you feel stable here, you can add your arm. So fingertips down, toes down. Exhale, lift up. Lower down, exhale, lift up. You don't want to like jump or get into an arch here. So again, you want to keep the spine neutral, and then you would do it on both sides. The next variation is similar, except that this time you're standing. If balancing is difficult, then just put I don't know, you can do it on a counter or maybe a chair in front of you. See what you can do there. But it would be good if you try to balance because you're forced to use more of your core muscles so you don't fall over. All right, so like we did before. So you look not too arched, not too flat. Find the neutral curve of your lumbar spine. And then here, I like to say, like hold on to a penny with your butt cheeks so the glutes are firm. And then like we did before, belly button in every time you exhale. So this is a good position, quite boring, but it will start to tone these muscles here in the back while your spine is neutral. So then you can add more difficulty. Bring your weight onto your right leg and bring your left leg to the back. So again, you could hold on to something here. And here again, when you exhale, lift the leg up and then lower it down, but just let the toe lightly touch. And then you lift it back up. I'm not moving my spine. The only thing that's moving is my leg. Good. This will force the muscles around your spine to firm. If you feel super stable, you can even hold this and keep pulling the low belly in. You can even reach an arm up, maybe even both, and move up. And then, of course, always both sides. Once again, visualize the muscles that are closest to the spine. I showed you the picture before so that you can have a feel or maybe a sense of what's happening while we do these borderline boring postures, but they're super effective. So when you inhale, you press your straight leg down, and then when you exhale, pull the muscles in. You could make this a little bit more intense by interlacing your fingers behind the thigh, pressing the left leg down when you inhale. And then you just hold it. I would say 5 breaths. Then come back to this position, take a moment, and then you would do it on the other side. I see it so many times online where they show like these forward folds when you have sciatica pain. If it's a herniated disc, this can make things worse. So how do you know? Because it feels worse. So again, trust your body. So you don't want to be in any position where you are seated and then you're rounding your spine and maybe even worse, pulling yourself forward. It puts a lot of pressure on the disc between these vertebrae. And then remember my little drawing, it can push the vertebrae even further towards the nerve root, and then you will be in more pain. First I've seen also is bouncing forward. I mean, this is basically a deadlift, right? So that caused my problem. So here, anything like this can cause more of the problem. Also try to avoid spinal twists on the floor when you have a bulging or herniated disc, because again, same thing, it can move the disc maybe further against the nerve root. Quite contrary, there is sciatica pain that comes from the piriformis. You may have heard of piriformis syndrome, where the pain comes more from the center of your butt cheek. I have another video on that one because the poses look completely different for this one. So take a look.